Yeah.
But sure.
Yeah, I spent 6 weeks immersed in Tudor history, actually. So I spent the whole time in 1530s. So I was, I'm quite happy to be back now, actually.
Yes, it's good to see you healthy and out and about, Lois, for sure.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get into our main topic then today, which is checking in on net zero in the UK. Now, you guys have you guys meaning Great Britain has a true believer in its leftist prime minister, Marxist prime minister, Keir Starmer. But Lois, I saw a recent opinion poll show that the public might be starting to turn against it. It was a London Times poll from November, which found that 92% of the British public viewed the Labour Party's specific net zero plans, particularly the 2030 clean power goal, as unrealistic. They're starting to see this idea to deindustrialize the UK as foolish, if not dangerous. You just mentioned the new leader of the so-called Conservative Party
the so-called
in the UK is now saying that net zero by 2050 is a pipe dream. And but the leftists are still in power there. And one more little fact point here is that there was an analysis by, what is it called, the Climate Change Committee, and that only 1/3 of the concrete plans of the Labour Party to achieve net zero are even practical. And so, it seems to me that the whole edifice here is shaking, and that maybe it would fall, but maybe I'm being too optimistic and you can disabuse me.
No. Yes, we do currently have a Labour Party in government. However, if you look at the polling, for example, for the Reform Party, which has taken on board wonderfully the Heartland's recommendations for abolishing net zero targets completely, and to reverse the industrial decline of the United Kingdom, and also to reverse the ban on petrol and diesel vehicles, they are actually well ahead in the polls. They are polling ahead of the Labour Party, and even the Conservatives, who are in third place, they've now made a decision to abolish net zero targets. So if you combine the percentages of the 27% that the Reform Party have got with the 21% that the Conservative Party have got, then obviously you've got 48%. You've got the majority of those who actually of the three parties who actually don't believe in climate change and want the net zero policies abolished. So, okay, the Labour Party might be in government at the moment, but there certainly will not be at the next election. There's no way that they're going to win the next election, even though it looks like a Labour landslide. It was built on sand. They had, in terms of the amount of votes that were actually cast, it was very, very low because of the way that our electoral system works. The Reform Party basically effectively split the Conservative vote because the real Conservatives in this country wanted to give the Conservatives a proper beating, and the only way they could do that was by getting them out of office and hoping that they'd rebuild into something that was truly conservative again. But actually, what's happened is the Reform Party is now going from strength to strength, and the latest polling is showing that it looks likely that they will be able to form a government on their own. So, and they want to abolish all net zero policies. And as I said, Ed Miliband they call him Red Ed or Ed Miliband. He's the actual minister for net zero. He's now pilloried on a regular basis as a figure of fun, so much so that it's almost daily that it's in the media that he has been considered to be reshuffled and taken out of his position. The whole thing in this country is a complete scam. It really is. But there's an announcement that's been made recently that they want to spend £180 million on solar panels for NHS hospitals and schools. These solar panels and these wind turbines and all of this stuff, I don't need to tell you guys this, it's all made in China using electricity, which is generated from burning coal. So, and then they're shipped over here on ships which are powered by diesel. The whole thing is a complete and utter scam. And you're right, the British public is waking up to it. We pay 8 times more for our energy than you guys do. We should be fracking. At the gas that we've got, the shale gas that we have in the Boland Shale, which is in the north of England, is apparently even better quality than the shale gas that you have in the United States. It's been stopped by successive governments, in Conservatives and then Labour. If the Reform Party get into power, our energy will be cheaper and net zero will be abolished. And as I say, even the Conservatives are saying that now as well. So I'm putting a lot of hard work into this in the UK, and I'm quietly positive. I'm quietly positive about it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I'll say to our viewers here that your video picture is kind of skipping around and it's a little bulky.
I apologize.
Imagine how bad it's going to be if you guys get to net zero. You'll just be audio only. That's all you'll be able to do.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's probably because my Wi-Fi is powered by wind power.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
You're presuming, Jim, that they'll still have audio under net zero. You know, if you go to net zero, you're back in the 1820s or 40s for emissions. So no radio then. Didn't even have telegraph for much of that time.
Well, Lois, a question I have, and I'm sure people on the panel here have other questions I can ask you, but you've seen what's happened here in the United States with the election of Donald Trump, and he went about the business of immediately ending and reversing dozens of policies. He was doing it so quickly we couldn't even keep up. EPA being one of those examples. They're going to apparently revisit the endangerment finding. He's talking about getting rid of what we call the CAFE standards here in the United States, which is the government mandated fuel efficiency requirements for automobiles. If you can just run down the list. I mean, there's so much you can hardly keep track of it. If the UK was blessed enough to reject a Labour government and get a real conservative, perhaps Reform Party prime minister, or at least dominating your government, could it turn around in the UK as quickly as we're hoping it's turning around here in the US?
Well, absolutely. You just need to abolish the 2050 targets and the 2050 targets for net zero in terms of carbon emissions, and just reverse the 2030 ban for electric vehicles by abolishing petrol and diesel cars. I mean, Vauxhall has just closed their factory in Luton, and they're directly citing the stringent net zero emission vehicle mandate because people do not want to buy electric vehicles, and they're being fined if they don't produce and sell a certain amount of them. The Society of Factory Motor Manufacturers has expressed concerns that the ZEU mandates target 80% of new cars and 70% of new vans sold in the UK to be net zero by 2030 as completely unworkable, and that could completely destroy the UK car industry and private enterprise, because you need a van. If you want to be a guy who a white van man who goes and fixes things, or a plumber or an electrician, you need to have a van that actually works and one that you can afford. And so these targets would be abolished straight away. So yes, I think that we could see a turnaround just as quick as yours. Absolutely.
Well, that's good news. One of our viewers here goes by the name Kite and Music said, let's aim for not zero instead of net zero. So feel free to steal that slogan next time you're on the media there in London.
Thank you.
All right.
Net.
So is there anything else about net zero? I mean, you shared some information here with me, Lois, before we get to the questions and answers from our viewers. But another thing I think you outlined for me, there's all of these potential investments of your money, of public money, into all of these green projects. That's another thing that the Trump administration has put a stop to, although the grifters are going to the courts to get their money.
I know.
I've never seen anything like it. You steal money from the taxpayer, then you go to a judge and get the judge, convince the judge to let you keep your stolen goods. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, and there's been lots of controversy because, as I say, Ed Miliband, the Minister for it's supposed to be energy and net zero, but basically it's net zero. His brother, David Miliband, has a private company that directly benefits from the subsidies for these green policies. So there's been a lot of controversy about that. And if you actually look at a lot of the people that have been put into positions of power within the government, they all have ties to what I call dark green money. It used to be called dark oil money, didn't it? But now the darkest money is darkest green. And it's a gravy train. And I'm not surprised that they don't want to get off it. These people know in their hearts that not only is it a load of rubbish, but also that even if you believe that CO2 is causing catastrophic climate change, that the policies they are enacting do not address that issue. In fact, they just make it 10 times worse. So importing wood chips from America to burn rather than using our own coal on ships that are powered by diesel, electric cars, which actually over their lifetimes produce more CO2. Even if you buy into the narrative, it still doesn't work. So it's I believe that you've got a small amount of people who are trying to make as much money as they possibly can in as short a period of time as they can, and then they'll just walk away from it. But don't forget, the whole electric vehicle scam is nothing to do with emissions or anything. It's actually mainly, I believe, to get people out of their cars, because for ordinary people, their car represents their independence. And if you want a neo-Marxist society, you do not want independent individuals. And for me, that's what the heart of this whole thing is. It's communism. Communism I was going to say by the back door, but actually they're not even trying to hide it at the moment. It's communism through the front door.
15-minute cities, the same thing. They want to be able to control where people are and to know where those people are. When they cross over the border, they know you've gone there. It's a 15-minute city. You got to pay that fine. You got to pay that fee. It's all about, everyone thinks it's about money, and a lot of people are profiting from it, but really it's about power. It's about green groups wanting power over how people live. It's about politicians wanting to maintain power in the strongest ways possible. And it's always better if they can say they're not doing it for their own good, but they're doing it for your good, paternalistically. We're saving you from your own actions, which are destroying the earth, so will destroy your children. We care about you.
It's religion for people who don't have faith as well. I've noticed that the most fanatical people about all of this nonsense often have no faith in anything at all. And I don't necessarily even mean religious faith, although that is important to me personally, but they don't have a belief in society or family or anything. They don't believe in anything. This is their religion.
Yeah. Well, people watching this show can visit Heartland UKEU.org, I believe. I think I have a banner here for it. And you can see our efforts there. There it is. You can see our efforts there with Lois. Again, we started this organization with Lois over there in London in December, and it's been going gangbusters. And if you want to learn more about what we're doing overseas, that's the beachhead. First the UK, next Europe, just like in World War II. It's a staging area to take climate realism global. So that's our idea anyway. So you can go to heartlandukeu.org and check it out, and hopefully support her efforts and our efforts together. She's doing great.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Come on, man.